Is social media going to trend itself into some other version? What's next on the horizon? Is it,
well, I read this
without
morning.
sharing the $1 million secret.
Well, you know, there's no secrets really.
Yeah.
It's relationships.
It is relationships. I think that we're going to continue to see Facebook grow and flourish. I read this morning that fan pages, you're not going to be a fan of a business pretty soon. You're going to just like a business, which is going to be a transition in psychology, so to speak, of how Facebook is leaning in the way that they want for businesses and individuals to relate to each other. Twitter is continuing to grow. It is having a deeper effect than it was this time last year, not just in numbers of people getting on, but people are becoming more loyal to Twitter usage. I remember last fall we had some statistics come out that said that Twitter had grown really fast, but that people weren't sticking with it. And so some data that I actually read this morning showed otherwise, that there's a stickiness to Twitter that wasn't there before. And then Foursquare, I think, is coming. It's happening in Jackson. It wasn't even available to smaller markets earlier this year, and they have opened it up. And of course, South by Southwest, the big technology thought leader symposium out in Austin was a couple of weeks ago. And during that week, Foursquare, I believe, grew 100,000. I think my numbers are right, but I can't be sure. I think they grew 100,000 users in just a matter of a few days. And since then, it's just been experiencing exponential growth and growth into smaller markets. So I think we're going to see a lot of Foursquare activity in our smaller markets by the end of the year. And that's something that all of us as locally owned small businesses should take advantage of and should pay attention to.
I was saying on that Foursquare, I think it was yesterday, they said they had over 1 million check-ins.
Yeah.
On Foursquare. And in certain markets, they have, if you become a mayor or if you are at a certain place so many times, they will give you an appetizer.
Right.
If you're at a restaurant and you become the mayor of that place.
Business.
I think Foursquare is going to be a leader here.
Yeah, businesses should definitely pay attention to it, because then, of course, it first rolled out in your major markets: New York, LA, San Francisco, Dallas, some other major cities. And so we've been watching it. I've been watching it from afar with a couple of social media folks that I really admire have used it heavily. Peter Shankman is one that's used Foursquare really well over the past year, and it's kind of demonstrated to us how that could work, and shared a lot of information about how local businesses could interact and take advantage of Foursquare. And so we've seen that play out because he lives in New York, and so he has a great opportunity both in his travels and in his life in New York to kind of play that out. And now it's open to everyone, and the basic premise is that you can really reward loyalty with Foursquare. It has a way to measure how many times someone's checked in. The business owner can see that information and in turn reward the loyalty of the people who are either the chief checker-inner, which is the mayor of a location, or just every so many check-ins you could get a free appetizer or a discount or different things. It's completely up to the business. It's completely, the business could do nothing and gain nothing from it, or they could do something and participate in it, and really it provides a motivation for, it kind of becomes a game. People are trying to become mayor.
And I think it gives us a technology tool to do something that a lot of us have already been doing. You know, they give you a punch card for your 10th cup of coffee is free, or your 12th bagel is on us, or whatever. And with this, people like me who don't like to keep up with little pieces of paper, you know, I can say, well, look, I've been here 10 times, look right here. That it turns something that we were already kind of doing in some instances into an electronic tracking way to do it. And I do like to watch
with
people,
a social aspect.
Yeah, with a very social aspect. And you don't always tell everybody, hey, I'm going to go do this, right? But if you know that there's something else in it for you, it makes you way more inclined to say, hey, I'm going to go to Olga's and tell 1,000 people, right? Olga's back there in the back smiling at me.
Everybody on Foursquare would see every time you check in somewhere. So it's a similar thing to Twitter, except that you have the check-in with a physical geographic location, and you have the opportunity to rise in the ranks of how loyal you are as a customer. So anyway, Foursquare will be something that's coming.
Well, also some of the friends that I follow, we make a game of it also to see who can get to the most places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who wins the most points?
It's absolutely a
And
game.
whoever has the most points at the end of the week, everyone else has to buy him lunch.
And who really wins at the end of that game? The business
The
owner.
businesses do.
Yep, absolutely.
I think it's real important for business owners to, we had a near incident with the lighting, but I think everything is okay. I think it is very important for live TV. I love that.
It happens.
Business owners need to be watching and paying attention to what your customers are doing, because if your customers are starting to utilize a type of technology and they're starting to move in a certain direction, you want to be there before all of your competitors, not months and a year later after your competitors have really mopped up. You want to be there right away, and you don't want to be the last one to figure out Facebook. I mean,
And if you're not on there yet, you might be among the last ones to figure it out. But you know, there are a lot of businesses out there that aren't on Twitter yet, for instance, and they're just blissfully ignorant of the fact that all of their competitors are on there. And it's kind of like the old days, and a new magazine comes out, and the salesperson forgot to call on this side of town, and so that side, you know, the east side of town is blissfully ignorant that the west side of town is all advertised in this new publication that's going to all of their customers. Well, that's what's happening on Twitter right now. Is you've got some businesses that are on there, and they're engaging with all the thought leaders in your community, and all of the influencers in your community. So even if, sure, maybe not all of your customers are on there, but all of the influential customers are. They're the ones that are recommending to their friends where to go and telling them the inside scoop about different businesses. And so we've got a situation where there are businesses in there that are motivating business out of those influential customers in your local community, and then you've got businesses that aren't on there, and frankly they're just blissfully ignorant. They have no idea of the competition that's going on right under their noses because they're not listening. And so that's one of the reasons that Andy and I, when we teach small business seminars and we talk to business owners, we tell them the first thing you should do with social media is start listening, because you have no idea what is going on out there right under your nose. And there's lots going on out there. And we're in Jackson, Mississippi, and there is a lot of business being done on Twitter every single day.